You're listening to the Wealthy Lawyer Squad podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Klein, and the founder of the Wealthy Lawyer Squad, a community specifically curated for law students and lawyers who are ready for more success, wealth, personal growth and wellness, and ease in their legal career. With the tools and strategies I teach in the squad and that I've implemented in my own career successfully, I want you to get ready to approach your legal career in a whole new way and live a life you never imagined. I'm a former big law attorney, entrepreneur, law firm owner, and success coach for law students and new lawyers, and I am here to support and inspire you on your journey in the law every step of the way. Let's go, squad. This episode of the Wealthy Lawyer Squad podcast is sponsored and brought to you by Law Firm Sites. Law Firm Sites has been building custom websites and providing online marketing for law firms specifically for over 23 years. They are great at what they do because it is all that they do. So if you're looking to expand the reach of your firm or just improve your online presence, then Law Firm Sites has the team to do it. Go to lawfirmsites.com or call 800-932-8242 and mention the Wealthy Lawyer Squad to receive 10% off your website or marketing package that you choose. They are absolutely fabulous. Highly recommend them. Love them, love them. Go check them out. Welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Lawyer Squad podcast. I am honored and thrilled to have my friend Milana Dostanitch on the episode today. Get ready, sit down, pay attention because there is going to be so much goodness in this episode. Milana, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
So happy to have you here. I'm going to do a quick bio and then we're going to dive right in because we have some really cool topics to talk about. So Milana is the co-founder of I Will, the Inspiring Women in Law League, a community of which I am a member, a proud member, for women attorneys to grow their careers and thrive personally. They have over 150 members and growing, which is incredible. How many years has I Will been around now?
Well, technically, it started in 2021. So
Wow.
we're almost, I guess, at 4 years.
Wow.
In February 2025, will be 4 years.
That's amazing. That's very impressive. That's not a very long period of time, honestly, especially with everything else that you have going on. I Will empower. What's that?
Oh, sorry. I said we've only been open to the public applications for like 2 months over a year, so 14 months. So the growth really happened during that time. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's even more impressive. And I love I Will, and I'm so happy that we were connected because you really are all about empowering women to practice law on their own terms, which we're going to talk a lot about today without having to compromise on family, travel is important, and other goals and values. In Milana's legal career, she serves as senior of counsel at Lipsky Lowe, a New York-based law firm focusing on employment litigation. And we're going to talk a little bit about your career as well, because I think you're the first employment attorney that we've had on. And a few months back, we did a panel with I Will with different attorneys. I was so honored to be on that panel talking about what we do. And I love hearing about what other lawyers do because it's so different from what I do. For Milana's work, she's been featured on CNBC, Forbes, Law 360, RTVI, Board Panda, and so many more. You've also been recognized as a rising star super lawyer by New York Super Lawyers from 2017 to 2024. Absolutely incredible. Milana is also an adjunct professor at Fordham University School of Law, where she teaches trial prep and courtroom presentation. In other words, what I have to say is Milana is just a badass. Graduated from Fordham University in 2014, and so many other incredible accomplishments. But we want to hear from you, Milana. Welcome to the show. Tell us about yourself, your career, all the things.
So all the things. Well, so look, I came to the US with the idea to fight for people's rights. I want to be an international lawyer. But fast forward, I did employment law. Because when I realized that if I did international law, it would be largely like memos and intellectual exercises, and I actually wanted to see impact in real people's lives. So a mentor wisely told me, employment rights are everyday human rights because everyone has a right to be respected and honored and paid fairly at work. And I was like, this is it. And so from the very graduation, I graduated in 2014. All I've been doing is employment law. Now I specialize in discrimination, retaliation, whistleblowing. I also do class actions, unpaid wages. So basically, and severance negotiations and such. But basically, the whole spectrum of what you may have in employment law.
That's amazing and honestly really incredible work and something I wish I would have known about and some of the things, that has happened in my career. Tell us about what's a typical day, an employment attorney's life.
Well, I mean, for a litigator, and again, I'm on plaintiff side, so I represent people, individuals against companies, right? So for me, it may be that I do several intakes. I may be working on a litigation schedule, so it could be a brief I'm working on or trying to get more complaints out. But I think the most important part that young lawyers may not anticipate going into this field is the level of empathy
Mm,
and understanding of people, right? Because it wasn't until I really did this work for 10 years that stark realities didn't really hit me. We hear about discrimination, we hear about underpayment, but it's like, it happens to someone else. It's not part of your story. But when you see how immigrants, how women, people of color, people that got sick, people that are over 40 get treated, and how prevalent it is, you start realizing a lot of the flaws of the society, right? Because again, usually we don't get to talk about this. If someone is having a problem at work, they're like, oh, it must be me, my manager. It is not like that. But when you start realizing that it's happening to many people because the focus of current corporate America is on the bottom dollar and shareholder value and not a person's uh, life happiness or health or longevity, you start having these thoughts. And I've mentioned this before to you, but I think it is in fact this work that prepared me to do I will, because I have no illusions of what women face at work, and especially if they have cross sectionality, meaning that if they're also a mother or a person of color, or if or if they have children, all those things compile more and more. So in employment law, you have to know empathy, and you have to kind of learn to deal with all those emotions, because people seek you out on their darkest days, right? When they don't know where to go, when they lost their job, when they don't know how to make ends meet. So that's
yeah.
one thing I think they don't tell you about before you start.
I know, and I know we've talked about this before, but I really think in law school there should be, panels maybe once a semester at least or once a year with different attorneys in different practice areas and then, the subsections of those practice areas and really explain here's the skills
Mhm.
that will help you thrive in this particular role or this particular area of the law because no one really understands, I don't think, unless maybe they have a family member, before they go into a certain area. And that might be part of why so many lawyers struggle and other reasons that we'll get to in a little bit, but also maybe just not being in the right place in the right role. I think that would be amazing. And I think I
Totally.
will is obvious. I mean, I know I will is promoting those types of conversations because you had me on one of those panels. And I think having more of those would be fantastic.
I just jotted it down for 2025 because, I will Inspiring Women in Law League. We're, currently working on the curriculum and the programming for 2025, and I think we're like already into April, so we have
Wow.
a very good, well, actually part into September, because we will have a retreat in Tulum in Labor Day weekend. But
Mm,
yeah, I think we need to bring the panel back, maybe the panel we had, because it was a really really good conversation. So
yeah.
await a new invitation, Lauren.
Yay. Well, and I learned so much. Like I really learned a lot. So I want to
Oh,
talk about a reel that you posted a while back. And I remember watching this reel, and I think I've told you this, but I was, getting ready in the morning. I had my little kids. I take my two boys who are now 2 and 4 to school every morning, except for Fridays. My
mm,
husband's off on Fridays. And I take them to school. So I'm watching this reel, and I literally was like shouting at my phone, like, yes, oh my God, yes, yes. And I was getting chills and like, kinda getting teary-eyed and they're looking at me like, "Mom, mommy, like, what are you doing?" But it was the first time
mm,
I think that I had ever heard someone explain it to me in this way, and it resonated. It was something that I knew deep down inside, but no one had ever explained it. It was the one about rebellion. So I'd love to hear
Yeah.
What was the impetus behind that reel?
Well, I think I will, even though we're very action oriented, and this, our members collaborate. We do a lot of projects, a lot of things that, can get you visibility, promotions, things like that. But at the heart of hearts, it's a organization based on hope, an
Mm,
organization based in in self-belief and in belief in each one of our members, in that they are the ones who have the power to change the paradigm and how their career in life is going.
mm,
I think a lot of the time we outsource that power. We say, what, I'm just one person, what can I really do? This is just the time, this person is president, this person is vice president, the economy is a certain way. And so a lot of us give up power. But the truth is, I think bringing that power back and shifting the paradigm and saying, actually, I'm much more powerful than I am. So the real, that's kind of the background of it, is explaining that when you arrive at the paradigm shift, when you
mhm,
say, actually, where I am and how I'm being treated and how I feel at work and the compromises and sacrifices I'm always called to make and I'm told to survive, to bear with it. Just this 5 years, just another 5 years, just put in your time, just put in your work. And you keep on hearing the story that eventually will get better. And then it doesn't, right? And then, as I told you, as an employment attorney with over 10 years of experience, I see how people burn out. I see how they have to quit. For women lawyers specifically, right? There's a drop off around 10 years. And, now there's statistics. It's not even about children. Women drop off after 10 years, even the ones that didn't, choose family life. They drop off because
mm.
they tried so hard and nothing happens, right? They're treading water. So,
Wow.
and we believe, and we share this idea and hope. And of course, we also embody it, right? That you start a small act of rebellion when you say, I deserve better. This is no longer serving me, right? When you call a spade and you say, I work harder than, let's say, my male colleagues, I put in the hours, right? I do all the extra stuff on top of it, you know, admin work, social media from my firm, extra client development, and I don't see the results. And then you say, I'm exhausted. And you acknowledge all these kind of things that we're told to bear with. And you say, this is not good enough, right? And once you acknowledge it and you say, I'm going to find other people, other ways, because life can be and should be better, right? So the act of rebellion that I'm talking about is knowing you deserve better and knowing that you can create that reality for yourself. And of course, it's much easier to do it when you're in a community of other women that have done it or believe the same. Because
Yeah.
in the end of the day, they say whether you think you can or you cannot, you're right. So that was the kind of inspiration behind the reel, because I want us to be courageous. I want us to be brave. I want us to realize that we can be lawyers. It's a very powerful profession, right? And we can still enjoy every day of our life and not have to wait to do all the things we want to do and feel all the things we want to feel until retirement or some better day, because it doesn't always come, right? Like, every day should be fulfilling. Every day should give you rest. Every day should be optimized for us to enjoy, thrive, and not be running on like fuels, leftover fumes, right? Yeah. And for that, we have to rebel and reject the status quo.
Uh, I think the reason that all of this resonates with me so much is, well, funny enough, it was about the 10-year mark that I left Big Law. I think it was about 11
There
years.
we go.
So I'm a walking statistic, and it resonates with me because for so long I thought it was me. I thought it was, I'm a first generation lawyer. I thought maybe I just wasn't going to be able to hack it. I thought, if I outwork everybody, outbill everybody, do all the things, be the perfect associate, people please all over the place. And as long as I outworked everyone, I would make it. I would get to that point.
Yeah,
And
sure.
certain events transpired that I realized, Oh, wow. It doesn't matter how hard I could literally work myself into the grave and it still won't be enough, quote unquote, for me to reach the success
Yeah,
that my male counterparts had. And so hearing
absolutely.
that from someone else and like explained in a way that was like, it's not you, which I knew that, but just hearing another person say it, it's everything, you know? It's
Well,
everything.
well, this is why women talking, honestly talking without shame and silence, is part of the recovery process. It is
Yeah.
part of rehabilitation and unlearning. So the fact that you felt this for 10 years and so many women feel it for many years, it's not like a feeling. It's not like, you feel sleepy in the afternoon, it's a fleeting feeling. People live these things through months, years, sometimes, over a decade. And we don't share it because in law and in other corporate professions, right? There's this pressure to be convenient and comfortable and not crazy and not difficult. And what is that? That is a narrative of patriarchal, capitalistic, individualistic society that says, be a good girl, don't be a problem. If someone is harassing you, if doors aren't opening, silence is the way you persevere. Take the high road. In a way, they tell us to take the high road to be convenient, not to be disruptive at our own cost. So you don't
Yeah.
tell the fellow woman because they pit us against each other, right? They say she's the token woman, she's the next one, or she's the one before you. She's the gatekeeper, or she's your replacement, right? So then we exist in this isolation in a silence culture, right? And I mean, look, I also prosecute. I mean, I also litigate like civil, sexual harassment cases, civil rape cases, and while it's not the same, but the silencing of women and victims and the convenience not to look crazy, like the fact that someone going through something very hard has to be composed and has to use their good words and can like break down crying because otherwise it's about their mental health, and then they're unbelievable, is always weaponized, right? So the crazy difficult woman. And again, if you're a person of color, if you're older, oh, it's the menopausal woman, she's crazy, right? Or it's a person of color, she's
Yeah.
crazy, right? So they weaponize all of that against us, and that's why so many of us suffer in silence. And that's why in I Will, we don't moderate the community. We're like, tell us your experience, right? Take off the mask that they put on you, take off the silencer. Women have survived in all kinds of regimes and thrived through talking, right? Through talking, through communities, right? And often in some cultures, it was in the kitchen, it was in darker places, it was not, we weren't always given a voice, but it is our voices in saying the thing that makes us realize, wait, this is happening to you, this is happening to me, this is happening to her, right? So,
It's
and I think
everything.
that's where yeah, that's everything. And that's how I Will was started, like in 2021, when New York City life kind of died down with COVID and we were all isolated, I was having the same conversation like this with a colleague and another friend and another friend. None of them knew each other. And I was like, wait, you're a partner, you're experiencing this. One of us was like 15 years out. I was 7 or 8 years out. Well, 7 years out, right? And somebody was a little younger, somebody was a little older in their career, I mean. And I was like, how is it that the experience is the same? And all of you guys think that you're underworking, that you're under delivering, right? So I put them in a group chat, and these are the founders. This is how we started. It's Kalpana, Kat, and Ingrid. Um, we were like, wait, this is happening to you? And we're like, wow. And that's how I Will started, right? Like it was just a chat called Inspiring Women in Law. And then they said more people need to know about it. They added friends, friends added friends, friends added friends. And then we were 50. For a while, I Will existed just as 50 people. And then in the last 12 months, we grew about 100 members. So, but yeah, it's through sharing, talking, and normalizing the fact that life shouldn't be suffering. It should be thriving. It should be exciting. You should be able to get up and run to work in the morning, and then also be able to travel and see your children and have a pet dog, and use that gym membership that you bought, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know at one point everyone got together and decided that law had to be miserable because I got to a point where I'm like, if that's all that there is, then I'm out. You know what I mean? But I
That's
love
right.
being a lawyer and I didn't want to be out. I wanted to shift the way that I did it, from big law to law firm owner and have that autonomy, but I didn't want to exit. That was not what I wanted truly in my heart. And so I
That's
love,
right.
I mean, I think the first time you and I spoke, it was a business call, but we ended up chatting for an hour and a half about everything under the sun, about being colorful and
Yeah.
being who we are, and where you're living, which I want to talk
Absolutely.
about. And I got off that call feeling so energized and so inspired and so feeling like, okay, like there are other people out there who are looking at it from this perspective, who want to love their career. We don't want to leave, at least not right now. Who knows where
That's
life
right.
will take all of us, but we get to do it in a way that feels good to us and feels authentic. And I know we've talked about the fact that
Absolutely.
when you are authentic, in my opinion, you're a better lawyer, you're a better human, and you get in that flow so much, not to say every day you're in flow or every day is easy. There's always going to be challenges. I mean, you're growing a community very fast, and I know it's a lot of work. Plus, being an attorney, plus all the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Not to say that every day is going to be, rainbows and butterflies, but it when you
Well,
are living
but
your
look,
truth, it's different. It hits different.
it's very different. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. And look,
yeah,
there's a difference when you are putting in the hours and you're seeing the results and you're expressing yourself, you're building your full potential. You get to be aligned with who you are, right? You don't hide yourself. It's very different to be busy with that and be working 60 hours a week if you choose to. I'm not advocating overworking, but let's say currently I'm in a very busy season, right? Like I have a very busy, thriving employment practice with increasing clients, right? And I will is growing and going through a lot of things. But it's not burning me out because it's things I truly desire and love doing, right? And I see it affecting other people in positive ways, and I see us collaborating and growing. It's very different to be put to work and used and squeezed for all your youth and all your brain power and gaslit into reality that the way you progress is by doing more when everyone knows you will never get it. So it's very different to be exploited for working hard and thriving and creating and being expressed. And I think as women, look, we are creators, right? And even if, women that create children that have families and women that don't, we are creators, whatever path we choose. So to me, it's so important that every woman doesn't have to hide her femininity, her curiosities, her multifaceted thinking, the empathy, the kindness, in law, we're made to feel that those things make things complicated. But the truth is, those things make things complicated for managing partners that are old school that used to only have women secretaries, and
right.
they're still somehow on top of these structures, right? But the
Yep.
truth is, our clients benefit from this, right? Other lawyers benefit from this because we bring diversity, humanity. We think more communally, and even in my own practice, for example, I have male colleagues that, they make a settlement offer or demand and it gets rejected and they say, that's it, we're going to court. And I'm like, why don't we let it chill and ask again next week? No, 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 we can't lose face. And I was like, why not? I don't care, right? It's not about my ego. It's about the
Right.
client. And if we can
Uh,
settle it, do you know how many times, I would call and be like, hey, did you guys, chill out? Like, I know a lot of things were said. You were very passionate about your client. You're passionate, but let's do business. Let's think about what's best for you. And do you know how many of those cases settle when I've been told by male colleagues, no, impossible, must
wow.
be in court, right?
Wow.
Because for me it's not ego driven, it's result driven, and it's also communication, right? No sweat of my back to introduce, but I think it's a feminine trait to be like,
Yeah.
let's refocus,
Yeah.
let's chill out, is everyone happy, I understand what happened, right? It's like the emotional intelligence, right? I
Yeah.
definitely think if we had more women in power we would have less wars.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's so powerful. Like you're making it about the client, as lawyers should. Like it's not
Yes.
about whether we look awesome or we save face or we're like the toughest
Yeah,
or the coolest. It's about, is the client getting the right result? Are we avoiding all the
that's right.
litigation costs, the trial costs, which everyone knows gets very, very expensive. So I love that. And that
Mhm.
is absolutely 1000% a superpower. And that's incredible. Really
We have to
incredible.
celebrate it. And
Yes.
that's why, I mean, everyone should join. I will, because obviously I'm a little biased, but when you realize these things are superpowers and you get this confidence and you start doing it, and all of a sudden you're now leading cases, and when you say, actually, I took lead on the case, I settled the case, right? A lot of women, they have a lot of shame to say, I did it, I'm amazing, right? Because we're supposed to be modest, right? So they think it's bragging. But when you actually realize that men do it all the time, men say, I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm going to get this done, right? How
And
many
no one
women do
thinks
you dare say
twice.
that?
No one thinks twice.
No, of course. It's this audacity, this male confidence, even when they don't know what they're talking about, right? Like there's studies on this, right? Like women apply to a job when they're 150, like 7% qualified. Men apply to a
Right.
job when they're 57% qualified, right?
Yep.
So with I will, with this kind of support, with knowing women that do the same, and when you're comfortable saying, I did it, I can do it, I'm going to handle it, I handled it, and now I deserve a raise, now I deserve to be partner, now I deserve to have flexible schedule, and no, I don't want to have 10 vacation days, I should take a month. When you start asking for what you deserve because you know your own value, the system responds. They say, oh my gosh, she knows her own value. We can't undersell her. We can't underpay her because she's going to take that value to our competitor or start her own practice. And all of a sudden, you're getting promoted, you're getting paid. But you know who's not getting paid? The good girl. The good girl who's sitting there and still overworking and thinking, they will come and bestow the crown of promotion on me. Nobody's coming to save us, right? We
No.
have to know our own worth and our own strength to get what we deserve.
It's so true. It's so true. So I want to ask you, you moved from New York to Puerto
Yeah.
Rico. And I think that's a big part of doing whatever the hell you want to do. How did that happen and how is that working out, working partially remotely?
Well, I'm going to surprise you because right now I'm talking to you from Madrid,
Oh
which is the next
my God.
place I'm going to move to. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wait, did you
So, well,
move or are
first, look,
you traveling?
I'm kind of in the process of possibly moving here next year. So
Ah!
I'm doing 3 months here to figure it out.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
but, but all of this comes with what I was just saying,
Yeah.
I realize my value. I claim my space, meaning my time, my flexibility, and I
Oh,
realized that New York is amazing. I've been there for 12 years. I'm there like every other month. But the truth is, I wanted to create more space for a life that serves me better. Like, I want to go swimming
yeah.
in the morning. I want to do tennis before work. I want to go swimming in the evening. Like, I
Uh,
wanted the quality of life. And also, I looked at the thought process and the careers of women and men that were in New York, and I didn't want their life in 10 years. So I'm like, okay, so in 10 years, when I'm 20 years out, I'm going to be living maybe in a beautiful apartment, or maybe I'll have, if I'm successful, a Hamptons house or something like this. But
yeah.
you're still like in a rat race and you're
Mm,
still beholden to the system. You still have to be either in the office or you're accountable. Every minute of your day has to be accountable for many people, right? And I said, let me take space, let me reinvent it. What does practice of law look like on my own terms? And I wanted to remove myself from that environment and say, okay, now that there's physical space, there's time space. Can I get it all done and enjoy my life? And it's been 3 years that I've been in Puerto Rico again, with frequent visits to New York. But
mhm.
that space has allowed me to conquer my flexibility, and now look, I'm thinking about Europe because I
I love
can,
it.
right? Because I
Because
can.
you
But if I've
can,
never
because you can
asked,
do whatever
yeah,
you want, whatever you want.
yeah,
Life is
yeah,
limitless and we can all do whatever we
exactly.
want. Wow. Oh,
This is it.
and I love Spain. That is incredibly exciting. I might have to come visit you because I
Well,
did study
actually, there's
abroad
like
in Spain and
two.
I loved it.
Yeah, me too. I studied abroad here too. I spoke to 2 or 3 I will members that are like legit thinking of moving here next
Oh
year.
my
So I'm like,
gosh.
we should open a Madrid office, like.
Oh,
But
okay. We
but
got to talk about that.
when
That's awesome.
yeah, I mean, it's fantastic here, and it's amazing for children, and it's amazing for lifestyle, right? But what you just said really resonates with me. I may have shared it with you before, but my grandmother and my mom, they're very free women in their mind, in that they weren't beholden to like societal expectations
Mm,
as much as I think their counterparts of their age were. And my
wow.
grandmother, my whole life, she would tell me, what do you want though? Are you happy? And for years it didn't resonate. And she'd be like, what do you want? What is it? And I'd be like, what do you mean? Like, I have to do what I have to do. I have all these plans, and she's like, but whose plans are they? And for who are you doing them?
Mm,
And then
wow.
one day it clicked. One day it clicked, and she said to me, Milana, if one day someone asks you, why are you moving to Puerto Rico? Why are you taking your practice offline when they say you're thriving in your career? If you just stay in New York, you're going to be, incredible. Why are you doing all this? And if anyone asks you, the only thing you ever have to answer is because I want to.
Yeah.
She said,
Yeah.
there does never have to be any other justification, not because it's smart, not because it's finances. She says, it's your life. Life is one. We're here, for a limited time. If you
Yeah.
want to do something, if your desire says, I want to do it, that's justification enough, and it took me years to internalize that message. So now when, Madrid, random, right? Why? Because I want to, right? There
Yeah.
doesn't need to be any other reason,
Period.
because my life is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope everyone else kind of maybe, hopefully it doesn't take you guys 30 years to hear this message, but if you want to do something, you deserve to do it.
Yeah. And how fortunate that you
Am I
had
frozen?
those strong female examples in your life that instilled that in you, because that is, I don't want to say it's rare, but I don't hear it too often from my friends and my colleagues. So that's incredible. I hope to instill that. I only have boys for now. We'll see if we have a girl or not, but I hope to instill that in my kids too, that you can do whatever you want and you get to design your own life. And like you said, the time period that we are here on this earth is just like a tiny blip in all
Yeah.
of eternity. So it's, we might as well enjoy it and say,
Yeah. Well,
screw the
and
rules.
I absolutely. Look, and I think men and young boys need to hear it too, because
Yeah,
look, things we're talking about suffering from patriarchy, but men suffer under it too, because they have an
absolutely.
immense pressure to act a certain way, to hide parts of themselves, the same kind of like women, don't be
Yeah,
artistic, don't be flamboyant, don't be expressive, don't be emotional, don't tell your feelings. So
right.
men are trapped in the same system. The thing is, of course, I'm a woman and I can only do so much in my life. So my cause is women,
Yeah,
but I think that's why I will does accept allies, so men that are interested in these causes, that are, because it's not a women's issue, it's a societal issue. If women are expressed and happy, everything is better, right? Like,
yeah.
everything is better because 50% of population is actually enjoying their life. So yeah, men need to hear it too, like these expectations, while they may be keeping HR less busy, right, because you're convenient, but it does very little for what we can achieve and enjoy in a personal life.
It's so true. Oh my gosh. Tell us, where can everyone, I know everyone's going to want to join, I will. Where can they find out more? We'll obviously put the link in the show notes. What's coming up next, and where can they find more about I will and about you?
Well, yeah, totally. So, well, I will is on Instagram at I will league handle, and hopefully you link it. And our website is the same, www.iwillleague.com, and you can apply for our membership there. I'm everywhere. I think if you come to I will, and you can find me. Uh, in terms of what's next for I will, we have really exciting projects for 2025 that are going to be, as your listeners may not know, but we have just recently from November 1st switched to a paid membership. We've hired, staff to support I will. We're revamping our website. We're doing a lot more
Amazing.
partnerships with bigger brands. So, we currently have one event in New York per month in person, and then about 2 to 3 events online that are educational, for career, for many other things. For example, like health. wellness, financial education, because once you make that money, you better be investing it. But what do I say? You are
Yes.
the wealthy lawyer squad. So we also are going to have several programs that we're launching next year. One on networking, and I know it's a dirty word, but really, it's connecting with people, caring
Yeah.
about people, doing it in a way that is authentic and that enriches their life and yours. And I will is an amazing place to do it, but I realize that unless you attend every meeting, you don't really learn about it. So we're putting it in a little course about
Nice.
connection. We're also doing a LinkedIn course to kind of make sure that our members have visibility, and it's a collaboration with someone who's really great at it. And we're introducing a psychologist who will become part of our community, who will be
Mm,
leading our monthly calls. She's a doctor in psychology, Julissa Pagan, and she will be
wow.
also available on our group chat. So we will be focusing more about mental health and having access in group chat to those resources and put it forefront, because as you know, lawyers have terrible mental health uh,
Yeah.
track. I think we're like
Yeah.
the fourth and the fifth more suicidal profession, and most prone to depression, again, the fourth or fifth. So those are all things that are going to be available to us. And of course, as you know, I will create experiences that are focused on joy and play, because one way to remove the obstacles and demask us from this, masculine career, is focus on what life has to offer: music, colors, travel,
Yes.
things that tickle your senses, right? I always say I take women that you should be meeting, we take them, we put them in a room doing a beautiful experience, and when you're enjoying it and you get to know those women in this setting, then you realize they're also a badass lawyer. That's how real
Yes.
partnerships are made, right? Through personal connection first. So we have a lot of cool experiences. I mentioned Tulum retreat. We have a March headshot event. So it's going to be in Bryant Park in New York, as in a Bryant Park, beautiful location. It's a
Wow.
collaboration with Lafleur, which is a brand of suits. People will get to try suits and get their new
Oh, how
headshot.
cool.
So a lot of things. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So
I
we're
love it.
planning a lot of things. We do have a live calendar in our Instagram. So please follow us, join us, and learn more.
Yes. And like I said, I am a proud member. The WhatsApp chat is fire. There's always, I mean, referrals, yes, but also just great conversation. The events are always fantastic. So I'm just so proud and impressed of everything that you've built along with your colleagues. I will is really changing the legal profession, truly, truly. So thank you for all
It
of
means
the
so
I
much
know it's a
to me.
lot of work.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This
Thank you
was
so much. Well,
Milana, this was awesome.
we're we're so glad to have you be such an active member. I think every woman that joins our community is valued. And I will was started through a friendship, and that DNA, between the four of us friends, has we have been lucky enough to be able to maintain that culture where we believe in the best in each other. We believe that taking a chance on another woman, collaborating,
Yeah.
openly telling her about our dreams and plans, and doing it together is far more rewarding than it's risky.
Yeah.
So the culture of I will is that of friendship and belief, and we're not guarded because we believe that together we're better than alone, and that the pie is big enough for all of us.
Yeah.
And of course, our motto is rising tide raises all ships, right? We can do amazing things together. So I value you being part of the community. I value your belief in our belief and in us and in other women.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. It's truly an honor.
Yeah,
And thank you so much. Oh, this was such an incredible conversation. Not that I'm surprised. We always have the best conversations, but thank you so much for your time
of
and all the wisdom
course.
you shared. And I can't wait to see where I will goes in 2025 and beyond. So happy for you.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure. And you know where to find me.
Well, thank you. And thank you, everyone. And tune in to the next episode and see you all soon. Bye.